The galaxy had been at war for more than 10 long years. Stars burned in silence while fleets crashed like storms in deep space. No single species was strong enough to survive alone. That was why the Alliance was formed. A promise between many worlds to stand together against a rising enemy. Humans were the newest members. They were young compared to others, but brave and fast to learn. Human commanders believed in unity. They shared their weapons, their soldiers, and their ideas. They opened their ship codes and defense systems too. The Alliance, trust was given freely because humans believed war was won together. At first, everything worked. Human fleets fought on the front lines. They protected alien worlds that were not their own. Millions of human soldiers died far from Earth, yet they never complained. The Alliance praised humanity. They called humans heroes. They said humans were the heart of the war effort. Humans believed those words. But behind closed doors, another story was being written. Some Alliance leaders feared humanity. They saw how fast humans adapted. They saw how human shivs improved after every battle. They began to wonder what would happen after the war ended. Fear slowly turned into greed. Greed turned into betrayal. During one of the largest battles in the war, everything changed. The enemy launched a massive attack near a neutral star system. Alliance forces gathered all available fleets. Human ships took the center position. As always, they were first to charge. At the height of the battle, something strange happened. Human radar systems began to fail. Target locks disappeared. Defense shields dropped without warning. Human commanders called the Alliance for support. No answer came. Communication channels went silent. Then the enemy attacked with perfect accuracy. Human ships were hit again and again. It was not random. Every strike hit weak points only the Alliance knew. That was the moment the truth became clear. The Alliance had leaked human defense codes. They had sold humanity's trust for safety and power. Human fleets were surrounded. Escape routes were blocked. Thousands of ships were destroyed in minutes. Space filled with fire and broken metal. On Earth, leaders watched the disaster unfold. They sent emergency signals. No response came back. The Alliance had cut Earth off completely. Across the galaxy, Alliance worlds closed their borders. Human survivors were denied shelter. Medical ships were turned away. To the galaxy, humanity was no longer useful. The war ended soon after. The Alliance claimed victory. They spoke of peace and rebuilding. They erased humanity from their reports. To them, humans were a failed experiment, a tool that had served its purpose. They believed humans were broken, weak, and finished, but they were wrong. On Earth, there were no speeches, no cries for revenge, only silence, deep beneath the surface of the planet. Hidden lights turned on, old rules were thrown away. Humanity did not mourn loudly, they learned. While the galaxy celebrated peace, humanity prepared for something else. Because humans did not forget betrayal, and they never accepted defeat, the Alliance believed the war was over. They believed humanity had fallen. They had no idea what they had just created. After the betrayal, the galaxy moved on quickly. The Alliance called the war a success. They spoke of peace and victory, but for humanity, everything had gone dark. Earth was silent. No messages came in. No allies answered calls. The stars that once felt close now felt empty. Human survivors drifted through space. Damaged ships searched for help. Alliance stations refused them entry. Medical bays were locked. Supplies were denied without explanation. Many humans died not in battle, but in waiting for mercy that never came. On Earth, leaders gathered in closed chambers. Screens showed destroyed fleets and lost worlds. Names of the dead scrolled endlessly. There was anger, but also clarity. Humans understood one thing clearly. They were alone. The Alliance removed humanity from the galactic network. Trade access was cut. Communication relays were blocked. Human space became a blind zone on galactic maps. To the galaxy, humans had disappeared. Other species believed humans had collapsed. They thought Earth would fall into chaos. They expected civil wars and extinction, but none of that happened. Instead, humanity became quiet. Cities continued to function. People went to work. Children still went to school. But something had changed beneath the surface. Human media stopped broadcasting to space. No threats were made. No cries for justice were sent. The galaxy saw only silence. And silence was mistaken for weakness. Deep underground, old facilities reopened. places that had been sealed by past treaties. Labs that once tested dangerous ideas were active again. Scientists worked without sleep. Engineers broke limits they once respected. Military leaders shared full control with artificial minds. Humanity studied the betrayal carefully. They replayed every moment of the war, every signal delay, every leaked command. Patterns were found. Alliance systems were complex, but careless. They trusted automation too much. They depended on centralized control. Humans learned quietly. New fleets were not announced. No shipyards were shown. Construction happened deep inside asteroid belts and hollow moons. Every loss from the war became a lesson. Every death became data. On Earth, the public was told little, only that humanity would survive, and that patience was now a weapon. Years passed. The galaxy forgot about humans. New trade routes formed. New conflicts took attention away from Earth. The Alliance felt safe. They believed their betrayal had no cost. Then, without warning, something strange happened. An outer Alliance monitoring station went silent. No explosion was detected. No attack was reported. It simply stopped responding. Engineers blamed system failure. Technicians were sent. They never returned. Soon after, another station failed. Then another. Each time, no signs of violence were found. The galaxy grew uneasy, but no one thought of humanity. On Earth, a single report was finalized. It contained one simple conclusion. Humanity did not need to destroy the Alliance. They only needed to take control. In the dark, humanity had not fallen. They had evolved, and the silence was about to end. While the galaxy slept in comfort, humanity worked in shadows. They did not rush. They did not seek glory. They planned carefully. Human scientists studied alien technology in silence. They did not copy it directly. They improved it in human ways. They mixed logic with instinct. Artificial minds were rebuilt. From the ground up, these new systems were not just smart. They could adapt. They could learn during action. Humans called them silent partners. They did not command fleets. They listened. They watched. Every Alliance system humans had once trusted was mapped. Control hubs, relay points, backup networks. Nothing was ignored. Every weakness was recorded. Human engineers noticed something important. The Alliance loved control from the center. One command chain ruled thousands of systems. It was efficient, but fragile. Humans chose a different path. They built decentralized fleets. Each ship could think. Each unit could act alone. If one failed, others continued. There was no single point to destroy. Deep in asteroid fields, new ships were born. They were smaller than Alliance battleships, but far more flexible. They carried no flags, no visible markings. These ships were not made to conquer. They were made to connect. Human cyber teams trained day and night. They did not hack for chaos. They hacked for control. They learned how Alliance systems spoke to each other. Every signal had a rhythm. Every command had a pattern. Humans listened patiently, like hunters, waiting in tall grass. On Earth, military leaders changed old doctrines. Strength was no longer measured in firepower. Victory was measured in access. Simulations were run again and again. In every scenario, humans avoided open battle. They focused on doors instead of walls. Years of work passed without noise. No ships crossed borders. No warnings were sent. Then the first test began. A small Alliance supply system experienced a delay. Cargo drones stopped mid-route. Station lights flickered. Engineers blamed routine errors. They reset systems. The problem disappeared. What they did not know was simple. Humanity had touched their network and pulled away gently, encouraged by success. Humans continued. They entered deeper. Systems, still without damage, still without alarms. Entire sectors became dependent on hidden human access. Without realizing it, on Earth, a single rule was repeated: never be seen, never be loud. Human commanders watched Alliance fleets move in real time. They saw patrol routes, fuel limits, crew, fatigued cycles. The galaxy's strongest military was now an open book. The most important moment came quietly. Human systems took full control of one remote defense grid. The Alliance still believed it was theirs. Orders were issued. Ships responded, but not to Alliance commands. No shots were fired. No alarms sounded. For the first time since the betrayal, human leaders allowed themselves a pause. They knew the truth now. The Alliance could be defeated without a single battle. Humanity had changed. They no longer needed permission. They no longer needed allies. In the dark, humans had learned the greatest lesson of war: power does not always destroy. Sometimes it takes, and the galaxy had no idea what was already slipping from its hands. The first move was so quiet that no one noticed. An Alliance patrol fleet changed course without command. It was a small adjustment, barely worth attention. But that small change marked the beginning. Across distant sectors, navigation routes shifted. Supply convoys arrived late. Defense grids reported normal status, yet behaved differently. Alliance officers blamed software drift. They trusted their systems completely. After all, those systems had won the war. Human operators watched calmly. They did not rush. They activated control layer by layer. One relay became 2, 2 became 10. Entire regions slowly slipped away. Ships still flew. Weapons still worked. But authority was gone. Humanity did not disfile anything. They allowed everything to function, just under new ownership. Alliance captains began to argue. Orders conflicted. Commands were delayed. No one understood why. Fleet leaders demanded answers from the Galactic Council. Emergency meetings were called. Experts ran diagnostics. Everything showed green. That made it worse. In one system, an Alliance fleet prepared for a routine exercise. They launched on schedule. Engines burned perfectly. Then they stopped. Not damaged, not destroyed, just waiting. Human control had locked them in place, like pieces on a board. Fear spread quietly, not through screams, but through doubt. Commanders stopped trusting their screens. Pilots questioned navigation data. Every action felt uncertain. Meanwhile, humanity expanded the seizure. Communication channels were redirected. Encrypted messages passed through human filters. Nothing was blocked. Everything was observed. The Alliance was now speaking through human ears. In the core worlds, panic began to grow. Trade slowed. Military readiness dropped. Confidence cracked. Still, no one spoke the word humanity. Then came the moment the galaxy could not ignore. A major Alliance border defense network shut down, not destroyed, not sabotaged, simply transferred. Human signals replaced Alliance authorization. Defense platforms accepted the change without resistance. For the first time, Alliance leaders realized the truth. They were no longer in control. Emergency warnings were broadcast across the galaxy. A known hostile presence was declared. Fleets were ordered to regroup, but regrouping required permission. Permission they no longer had. Alliance ships moved only when allowed. They fought only when permitted. They stopped when commanded by someone else. On Earth, human leaders finally spoke, not with threats, not with anger. A single message was sent across seized channels. It showed no flags, no faces, only words. You took our trust. Now we take your systems. The message repeated once, then disappeared. The effect was immediate. Panic erupted. Council members demanded negotiations. Military leaders demanded war, but there was no enemy to fight. Humanity did not attack worlds. They did not fire weapons. They did not kill civilians. They controlled movement. They controlled power. They controlled access. The Alliance was trapped inside its own empire. The systems fell under silent human command. A new truth spread across the galaxy. Humanity was not seeking revenge. They were teaching a lesson. Betrayal had a cost, and the bill had come due. The galaxy had seen war before. It had seen planets burn. It had seen species vanish. But this was different. No explosions filled the stars. No fleets clashed in fire. Yet fear spread faster than any war. Alliance worlds woke to restrictions. Trade ships were delayed. Military fleets were grounded. Energy grids operated under limits. Everything still worked, but nothing was free. Civilians felt it first. Daily life became uncertain. Transport schedules changed without reason. Communication lagged. People asked questions. Leaders had no answers. Alliance commanders tried to fight back. They ordered systems reset. They attempted manual control. Nothing worked. Human locks were absolute. The Galactic Council called emergency sessions. Screens filled with nervous faces. Old leaders argued. Younger species listened in silence. Some demanded retaliation. Some demanded surrender. All felt the same fear. They finally spoke the name they had avoided. Humanity. Story spread quickly. Whispers of betrayal returned. Records of the war resurfaced. Footage of abandoned human fleets replayed. The galaxy remembered what it had allowed. Fear grew stronger when humans still did nothing. No demands were made, no ultimatums delivered. Power, without noise, terrified them more than weapons. Some alien worlds attempted escape. They tried to cut their systems off completely. Human control adapted instantly. Isolation failed. Others tried to appeal directly. Messages of regret were sent. Promises of friendship offered. All messages were received. None were answered. Humanity watched. Humanity waited. In several systems, Alliance fleets were repositioned by force, not attacked, not damaged, simply moved aside. Border defenses opened. Trade lanes rerouted. Entire regions reshaped overnight. The galaxy understood the truth. Humanity now controlled balance itself. Smaller species panicked. They feared being next. They feared punishment for silence. Many began to openly condemn the Alliance betrayal, not from honor, but from fear. Human analysts observed these reactions carefully. Trust was measured. Motives were evaluated. Humanity was no longer emotional. They were precise. At last, a response. It came across all seized channels. A calm human voice was transmitted. It carried no anger, only certainty. We do not seek destruction. We seek stability. We seek fairness. Those words echoed through the galaxy. The message continued. Betrayal will never again be rewarded. Power will never again be taken through lies. Alliance leaders listened in silence. They realized this was not revenge. This was judgment. Humanity revealed partial control intentionally. Just enough to show scale. Just enough to show reach. Every fleet, every system, every command chain, all visible, all vulnerable. Fear reached its peak. Some Alliance leaders resigned. Others begged for talks. A few prepared for hopeless resistance. But no battle came. Humanity allowed systems to function, allowed life to continue, allowed the galaxy to breathe. On one condition, control remained human. The galaxy learned a new truth that day. Humanity did not need to shout. They did not need to destroy. They ruled through restraint, and restraint was far more terrifying than rage. The galaxy waited as systems still worked. Fleets still moved when allowed. Life continued under silent control. Alliance leaders feared the next step. They expected punishment. They expected destruction. What they received was something else. Humanity called a galactic broadcast. Every seized channel activated at once. No systems were damaged. No worlds were threatened. A human figure appeared on screen, not in armor, not behind weapons, just calm and clear. The voice spoke slowly, so every species could understand. This war is over, but the lesson remains. The galaxy listened in complete silence. Humanity spoke of trust, how it was given freely, how it was sold cheaply. They showed records of the betrayal, leaked codes, closed borders, ignored distress calls. No lies were spoken, no exaggeration used. The truth was enough. Then humanity made its rule clear. No species would be destroyed, no worlds would be claimed, no culture erased, but betrayal would never be ignored again. A new galactic law was announced. Any alliance built on lies would be dismantled. Any war started through deception would be stopped. Humanity would enforce balance, not as rulers, but as watchers. Control of critical systems would remain human. Navigation, communication, defense authorization. Not to dominate, but to prevent another betrayal. Species were given a choice: open cooperation or complete isolation. No threats followed, no deadlines given. Confidence replaced force. Many alliance worlds accepted immediately. They reopened talks. They offered transparency. Others hesitated, fearful of lost power, fearful of human oversight. Humanity waited, one by one. Systems joined the new order, not because they were forced, but because stability returned, trade recovered, borders calmed. Conflicts faded before they began. The galaxy slowly changed. Former alliance leaders were removed, not by humans, but by their own people. Trust became valuable again. Because betrayal now had consequences, humanity reduced visible control over time. But access remained, always watching, always ready. Earth did not expand its territory. Human fleets did not occupy worlds that confused many species. They expected empire. They found restraint. Historians would later write about this moment, not as a conquest, but as a correction. They would say the galaxy survived. Because one species chose control over destruction, humanity returned to quiet work, to science, to to exploration, to building. But the galaxy never forgot. Every commander remembered the day their fleet stopped without damage. Every leader remembered the silence that followed betrayal. Humanity had been backstabbed once, and the galaxy learned the price from that day forward. All alliances were built carefully, all promises were weighed, because everyone knew the truth. If humanity ever fell silent again, something far greater was already moving, and that knowledge kept the galaxy at peace.